Castor is a film podcast filled with dubious opinions, plot spoilers, and a healthy sprinkling of bad language. Thanks for listening.
Hello and welcome to Casserole. My name is Jim, and each episode myself and my two co-hosts Sam and Nick review one of cinema's much loved or unloved films with the aim of also serving you up a delicious recasting. Before I can get through to that, don't forget you can follow and subscribe to Casserole over on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts from. And of course, don't forget to leave us those all-important 5-star reviews. And if you wish to support the podcast, you can do so in a couple of ways. Head on over to patreon.com/Castorol podcast, where for the low price of $1, you can become a lovely little subscriber and become a valued member of the Castorol Kitchen.
A tasty casserole morsel.
Follow us.
And should you wish to represent the podcast, you can of course head to tpublic.com, just search Casserole, and you too can own one of our amazing designs. No, Nick, I am not wearing one tonight. Before you ask. As I said, I am not alone. And yes, you are right. I am surrounded by assholes. It's Sam and Nick.
I don't know what to say.
If by assholes you mean sane people with sensible opinions on films, then yeah, call me an asshole.
You're an asshole.
Fair enough.
Is that just what you revert to when you've not had a chance to think of a good food analogy for us? Just
No, that's what I revert to. That's what I revert to when it's one of the jokes in the film that we're doing. But nice of you both to pick up on that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
They'll pick up on that.
Nice of you both to pick up on that
I'm
one.
surrounded by assholes.
Oh, yeah.
That is true. I just
Fuck, I'm wasted on you. I am wasted on you two.
I just assumed
Seriously.
you're a horrible bastard.
I mean, I can be that too, prick.
I'm actually just pleasantly surprised that you picked up on something in the film and you're referencing it.
Yeah.
I
You're like, I'm just going to quote the film, Space. Okay, thanks.
So yes, if you haven't picked up on it by now, and as you remember, it was voted on our socials, I believe suggested by the lovely people over at the Stupid History Minute podcast.
Yeah, thank you for that.
We are reviewing and recasting 1987's Spaceballs.
It's back to a good year though, isn't it?
It is a great year.
Back to a great year.
We didn't do what we've been watching this week.
No, we haven't.
What have we been watching this week?
Well, I'll tell you what I've been watching.
By this week, I mean the past few weeks.
Yeah, I've been watching 3 things, but I'll keep them brief. One, something that we already knew about and we were waiting for, Severance Season 2. Oh my gosh.
Really?
I'm hands down, Severance is one of the most interesting, best written, well acted, keeps you hooked and doesn't actually give anything away, but without it being irritating series ever.
I watched about 5 minutes before realising I was far too tired to turn it off. But I will go back to it because you've given it a glowing review. I will check it out, but I turn it on because I wanted something to watch, and very quickly I realised I'm too tired to pay attention to this. So I was like, I just need something mind-numbing to.
Yeah, that's not this. We're like a couple of episodes into season 2. I think like 3 or 4, and we still don't really know anything about the world, the people, what they're doing, and it's still interesting.
I was going to say, is that not massively frustrating?
Because it's not one of those ones. It's like you are learning stuff, but you still
sometimes those shows are the best when they just breadcrumb it.
It's not like Lost.
Ram it down your throat.
Okay.
Like the whole concept, it's so good. Yeah, so that, brilliant. Also season 2 of a sort of less known but like British thing called Am I Being Unreasonable? Have you seen that?
Never heard of it.
So do you know Daisy May?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the one from, she has co-written and stars in this show. I can't remember the name of her writing partner, sorry, but she's the other star in this. And it's just about this woman who's sort of got this quite a good life, but just slowly everything starts unraveling and crazy stuff happens. And if you just watch it, the cast is just stacked with talent. It is just funny but dark. It's really good. Am I Being Unreasonable on iPlayer?
Okay.
Season 2. And then another thing which we discovered, which has been airing for a while, but we didn't know it was what is it called? Part Wolf.
Part Wolf.
I think it's called Part Wolf. Let me just Google that sucker.
I feel like Part Wolf is a pretty good description of Sam now.
I mean, yeah, it's
He's
not a bad
looking
description.
pretty.
I'm looking like a Christmas wolf.
I mean, I'm glad he's growing the beard back out, so I don't have to look at the hideous pedo tash.
But he is wearing Christmas pajamas right now.
Yeah, that's kind of like criminal behaviour, really, isn't it?
You know what? I'd have thought so, but then he gave a perfectly reasonable explanation, which was, "They're quite nice pajamas."
They're nice pajamas. They're warm. It's cold.
They do look warm. I'll give him that, but
it's called Wolf Like Me. Sorry.
So not Part Wolf.
Not Part Wolf.
Liar.
Okay. Wolf Like Me, and it stars Isla Fisher and the guy that plays Olaf. Isla Fisher and Josh Gad.
Okay, yeah.
And she's a werewolf.
She's a werewolf.
She's a werewolf.
Cool.
Very interesting. Very good. Sort of flips it. It's excellent. Yeah, it's good.
Nick, anything?
Guys, I watched something.
No, you haven't.
I bloody watched something.
Wow.
Aside from what we're making a casserole of today, I had chance, sat down, I watched the film. I watched Infinity Pool, which was on Netflix, I think. Also had a little moment with Netflix, actually, when I realised that we couldn't get into the account or something. Turns out that for about 7 months, the account had been hacked and we'd been paying for someone else's secondary account as well. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth, right? Yeah. So watched a great film, but had a little bit of trouble
the balls
with the account.
on that one to just hack in and you not realise.
I can't fucking believe it. We had to do the live chat and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's not the email on the account anymore." And it had just been changed over. And I don't even know when. It's not even, when you go away sometimes and where you're staying, there's a TV and you log in.
Yeah.
And you forget to, and not till a bit later you think, shit, and you have to log back on and log out of those devices. And maybe something like that happened and then some bastard out there had managed to get into it.
That's gone. Change email.
Yeah, but I wasn't even getting good recommendations from them. It wasn't even
I bet your algorithm
on
Netflix has gone to shit.
But luckily for me, I did get Infinity Pool. So this is a Brandon Cronenberg film, and I spoke previously about one of his first feature films, or his second one, called Possessor. I don't remember me raving about that, but that is an amazing film. So I was really intrigued to watch Infinity Pool. It stars Alexander Skarsgård and Mia Goth predominantly. It's basically a very twisted, unnerving thriller horror kind of film. And it's really hard to talk about it without just massively spoiling the entire plot. But it kind of hinges around this couple who are away at quite a pricey sort of hotel type resort on this island, and there's an accident and they discover a really odd quirk about the law and order on this island, that they have a particular way of dealing with capital punishment, and it all kind of becomes really unhinged from there. And it's basically a film about the loss of morality, decadence, but what I love about it, so Brandon Cronenberg, I would really recommend checking out his body of work in his films. He's got a really, really interesting way of working.
What kind of films does he predominantly do? Because the two, the first one you mentioned, that Possessor, it sounds like something I'm never going to go near.
That's like a science fiction horror film. It's an incredible film. It's about an assassin who is able, her consciousness is able to be injected into the body of another, and then they use that sort of host to enact the killing of their mark, basically. But it's about how this woman, who's this assassin, who's been doing it so much, is started to lose control of her own consciousness because she's been projected into other bodies for so much. It's an amazing film. A lot of hallmarks of his work are kind of body horror, really kind of cool dream sequences.
Is he a Cronenberg? Is he it's the son, is he?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yes, he's the son of... It's David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
So all of those kind of classic, because he's like a classic proponent of body horror. He's really known for sort of all of those kind of films. I think I prefer Brandon Cronenberg's films because he's got all of that kind of really striking body horror in his work, but he's actually got a real flair for style as well. So yeah, that's what I watched, and I would recommend it. I don't think it's as good as Possessor, but it's well worth a watch. Infinity Pool.
Infinity Pool. I would have called it Never Ending Puddle.
It's quite good.
Yeah. And talking of body horror, I believe there's something that you've watched.
Yeah.
Recommended by me, right?
Yeah, we're going to get into it, aren't we?
Have you seen it?
What? Oh,
Substance.
Substance. No.
So, yeah. So, after recording, I went straight home and just kind of chill out. I watched that Dracula film.
Yep. Dracula Den, loving it.
And realised literally on the opening credits that I've 100% seen the film before.
Okay.
And then it was just confirmed during the bug eating scene. I was like, this film's just fucking brilliant.
It's brilliant.
It's so good. I was like, oh my god, why did I not say? How could I not realise it was this film?
The mirror dancing scene as well. So good.
So funny. And then
I need to watch it.
as you alluded to, per your recommendation, I sat down and watched The Substance.
Is that on the same night you went home?
No. I watched Dracula Den, loving it the day after recording, just kind of winding down before going to bed.
Yeah.
And then The Substance, I think I watched it about a week ago.
Okay.
I can say when you watch it because I got a thing being like, there's needles in it. And I was like,
Yeah. I mean, Sam definitely should have put a trigger warning for needle abuse in this film because, oh my god, did I get made to feel so uncomfortable during the film.
Okay.
Because I've got a fear of needles. So
didn't know that. Would have probably said.
So seeing those needles being so viscerally used, it made me squirm, and I was so uncomfortable watching those scenes.
Right.
But yeah, so The Substance.
This is Sam's, at the moment, top contender for film of the year. Right?
Even though it came out last year. It is.
Yeah. I'm worried. So it was fantastic until the director decided to take the piss, insult my intelligence, and go just go with what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, the ending. It's really unexpected.
That not only is it unexpected, it's unearned, unwarranted, not necessary. But leading up to it, the pseudo slasher chase scene followed by pseudo Marvel hero fight scene. Don't insult my intelligence with that. When 10 minutes prior to it, you are showing the main character painfully dislodge her knee back into place because of how much pain she's in, and then you show her sprinting around the apartment. Don't insult my intelligence with that. Please don't. You are, you know what I mean? I was in love with this film until they started taking the piss.
He's back. Jim's back.
It's really interesting
because that end sequence didn't, for me. Don't do it like that. Just you were already showing Sue degrading. Stick with that. Just stick with it. It was brilliant. And then you go, hang on, what kind of film am I directing again? Japanese body horror? Yeah, let's do that. But then it did worm its way back around because the final shot was so beautiful and such a bringing it back to the beginning moment. I was like, oh, that's why I love this film.
How many meatballs for you, Jim, on The Substance?
What, despite the fact... I mean, despite the fact I was viscerally hating the last 20 minutes.
You have to factor that in. That's part of the review.
I have factored in.
Go on then.
And it's still 5 meatballs. because I loved everything. Because I loved everything leading up to it. And then it got a reaction out of me to the point because I hated it.
Does it not drop a meatball for that? Or
because
because
I was wanting it to continue on a path.
Yeah.
It went on a different path. Don't remember, I hated that path. But because it evoked a reaction and an emotion, I was like, I can't help but love what's happening.
Anyway, I do think we mentioned this earlier, but did we say the film we're reviewing? We did. We're reviewing.
Give a little rewind.
It's a great scene.
Yes, I did, because it's been so long since we last recorded, I did forget what we normally do. As I just said.
You just said.
We're going back to the year 1987, and we are doing Spaceballs.
Spaceballs!
So, only means one thing. Nick, it's over to you.
Right, well, gentlemen, do you like your balls both spacey and spoofy?
Not Kevin Spacey, but I do.
Wow.
He's back now. He's back now, right? He's back.
He is back. Yeah,
He's been found innocent. Like he apparently didn't do anything.
We can talk about him, can we?
Yeah, probably
Well, I mean,
won't. But
Still.
We don't have to agree, but he's in. Yeah.
I don't like my balls, Kevin.
Okay, and that. Well, do you like your balls spoofy and in 1987?
Well, I mean, if my balls were in 1987, they'd be attached to a little wee babber. So
What the hell?
that's a really poorly worded sentence.
I'm just going to move on.
That's such a poorly worded sentence.
Right.
We'll cut that out.
Right, what is Spaceballs? So,
God, that's getting clipped.
This is a Mel Brooks space opera spoof, is what it is. And this is co-written, produced, directed, so this is massively a Mel Brooks monster.
This got him all over it, hasn't it? It's like a classic.
Got him all over it. I mean, basically, it's parodying and spoofing the Star Wars trilogy. But it's also pointing a finger at all sorts of other things as well. Any other space stuff, I think. Star Trek.
Well,
is
anything
right
around
for the
that
taking.
time, really, wasn't it?
Alien. There were some
Alien.
heavy alien references that I was
it's
not
it's
expecting.
just a
in
scene
this
from
film.
Alien.
Yeah, with a character and actor from Alien.
It's like, oh, not again. It's so good.
I just did not know where that was coming from. I mean, all sorts of stuff. You've got A Space Odyssey, you've got Planet of the Apes referenced
Oh,
in
they do
here.
that, don't they? Yeah.
And you've got a cast that is somewhat star-studded, but you've also got some somewhat unknowns for the time. You've got a whole bunch of cameos going on in here. And Spaceballs basically follows. Apparently, Mel Brooks wanted to keep this as close to the kind of story arc as possible as the original Star Wars. And he had licensing agreement. Mercenary Lone Star, played by Bill Pullman, and his alien sidekick Barf, played by John Candy. And they need to go and rescue Princess Vesper and her droid, Dot Matrix, from the Spaceballs, who are planning to go to the planet Druidia, to basically hoover up all of the atmosphere and air because planet Spaceball is running out of their own atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that is really the story.
Yeah. And Spaceballs are basically the Empire.
Spaceballs are the Empire. Yeah. That's the sort of that's the protagonist in whole, led by Dark Helmet, played by Rick Moranis, who originally I think they wanted Dark Helmet to be just one massive helmet, like the entire costume was just a big moving helmet.
Nice.
That's quite funny.
I'd have loved that.
Yeah.
That's quite funny. I do think one of my favourite scenes is when they're on the desert and he's got the different kind of helmet on. That's very
And he
funny.
just opens the flap and takes a little drink or something. Or
Yeah,
sprays
it's
his
kind
face
of
or something
like a safari sort of helmet,
Yeah.
colonial kind of style.
They're called,
like-
they're called. I can't remember what they're called now.
Yeah.
Pip helmets or something. But
Yeah, that was good.
that was good.
That's when they get stranded on the desert moon. The film also, of course, features a 2 role for Mel Brooks himself, where he's both playing President Scrooge and he's also playing Yogurt, which is their take on Yoda.
Very good.
Yeah, there's lots of dick jokes. There's a whole lot of Jewish dick jokes.
Yeah,
in this
it's okay that
humour.
you're allowed to make Jewish jokes if you're Mel Brooks because you're like
Absolutely.
the
If anyone
Jewish
is,
person. Yeah,
Mel
yeah.
Brooks is. Yeah, and there is, of course, the unifying life force of this world, which is called the Schwartz.
Schwartz.
The Schwartz.
So you guys had seen this film before?
Yeah, well, hang on. Well, before we get into the weeds, give me 3 words on this film.
Summarise it in 3 words.
Let's summarise in 3 words before we get into the guts of this film.
What we thought about this film.
Yeah, 3 words, no more.
Go on, Sam. I think you should go first.
All right. Okay. Funny. Infantile. And if I'm honest, dated. I would say as my 3: funny, infantile, dated.
If I were to go with 3, it'll get expanded on. Not as good. And I'll expand on that when we start going into it.
I think my 3 words, which is kind of riffing on your 3 words in a way, Sam, would probably be Saturday Night Live. in the
that's
whole film.
That's mean. God, I really hate Saturday Night Live.
Of like a one big Saturday Night Live sketch. Or at times I was like, this is almost like a local theatre group, like your local community centre, putting on like a comedy that like the local vicar had written the script for or something. Or maybe
what would be funny?
Okay, well, let's stay with you, then, Nick, because obviously I want to hear more on your thoughts, because the last, like I said, the last 2 times we've gone back to the 80s for like a kind of a light-hearted comedy, you've said they were shit.
It hasn't worked for me, is it? Ghostbusters
said was shit. Princess Bride is shit. And you so
hang on.
So no, we're not doing Princess Bride. We're doing Spaceballs today, Sam. So
did you like Princess Bride or Spaceballs more?
I said it was shit.
Which did you like more?
Oh, Spaceballs. Yeah. If I was going to pick one to watch, I'm watching Spaceballs. Princess Bride was shit.
It's such like a classic film.
Classic.
Do you know what?
I've said it, Sam. I'm going to keep saying it. Classic doesn't mean good.
Do you know what? I can't believe this, but I think as much as for portions of this film I was fast forwarding, like, there's got to be another funny bit soon. I still think I'd actually rather rewatch this than Princess Bride as well.
Seriously, shut the fuck up.
This is like,
it's such
Princess Bride is like your top 5, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like number 2,
number 4.
3,
It's number 4.
Number 4.
Number
so
4.
Shit.
It's
It's
so good.
I keep seeing lately loads of people harp on about it on socials, and I'm like, why?
Well, I mean,
it's shit.
Loads of people like it.
Yeah, but they're wrong. It's shit.
Let's not get into it, right? Because
Me and Nick are
genuinely,
correct.
it's like you're talking about one of my children, all right?
Don't put them through it.
They'd love it.
That's like
All right, look.
child abuse.
We'll stop shitting on your kids, okay? Let's talk about the film. So I think what I found about this film, right, I think the cornerstone of a good spoof, don't get me wrong, right, I love a good spoof. And I think the cornerstone of a good spoof is you should be able to really easily tell that everyone is having an awful lot of fun making it. And I think in this film you can tell that. Like, I think there were moments where I kind of laughed out loud, but it was like a sort of laugh out loud.
Yeah.
It wasn't like heartfelt. I was like, that's quite a good bit. That's quite sort of somewhat cleverly written. And there were just large portions of it where I kind of just felt like that's probably like that actor at that point for this take. That's the first time they've read that line in the scripts, maybe. And they're just having a go. And Mel Brooks is saying, yeah, that's the keeper. I don't know. It was just a lot where I was like, it felt amateur almost.
See, the thing is,
But did you like it?
I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. It was kind of just, this is okay.
This is the thing, because I think if you look at like Mel Brooks' other films, like I think there's 2 sort of levels. There's obviously your Young Frankenstein and your producers.
Yeah,
is definitely on sort of another level. They're like good films, almost sort of
in and of themselves. Yeah,
and then you look at films like Dracula Dead and Loving It and sort of Robin Hood Men in Tights. And I think why those, in my opinion, work more than Spaceballs. Now, I like Spaceballs. It's all right. And I actually, before rewatching it for this, I think I'd probably watched it a few years ago, and I probably liked it more. Like the rewatching now, I probably liked it the least. And I think it's because films like sort of Blazing Saddles is again sort of another thing, because it's
a classic.
It's a classic, but they're talking about like serious subjects.
Yeah.
And actually, the thing that's so ridiculous there is people's opinions on people based on the color of their skin.
Yeah.
Like that is such a ridiculous thing that no one should be judging people for. That is like when they send that up, it's like tragic comedy.
Yeah.
But they are all serious characters. Some of them like they have a bit of a laugh and stuff like you say, but they're playing it straight. And even in Robin Hood Men in Tights, even in Dracula Dead and Loving It, they're playing it straight.
That's the difference, I think, and that's what Spaceballs doesn't have as much. And that's why it felt like one big sketch to me, where they're kind of so close to just like giggling. It's like you put all of them in a room with a load of props, and you were like, "Do me a Star Wars sketch."
Yeah,
and it just every joke was a little bit too cheap. I found like there was a couple of bits that were good. I think some of the visual comedy was really good. Like the first take with the spaceship.
Best jokes were just the dad jokes.
Yeah, like
when
the
they like,
jamming the radar.
Yeah,
that's
what's
classic.
this radar? Oh, it's jammed and just jammed. It's like that made me laugh.
Yeah, but I think you can only get away with one at that level, like once or twice. When it's like every single thing coming at you is like a cheap dad joke, it's kind of just a bit onerous. It's just like...
And like, I don't know why. Like, maybe he refined it, but like, there's a scene in this which is very similar to a scene in Robin Hood Men in Tights, where in Spaceballs they're like, we don't know where they are, quick, and they go and rent Spaceballs the video, and they play it, and you're like, that's quite a funny concept, but then they're like, oh my god, I'm seeing us, this is us now happening in the film, and you're like, that's very much Saturday Night Live. Like, they picked on something that isn't funny and they're running with it over and over. Whereas in Robin Hood Men in Tights, and they're like, oh, he's got another shot, and they're like, does he have another shot? And then they all get their scripts out and they go, he does have another shot.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And it's quick.
And it's quick.
Like, and you move on and you're back
they've
in.
got their scripts on them, that's funny, and then they're back in the moment. Like, that's funny. It's
I agree. It's like every joke in this film is being milked to just too much. Whereas you're right. If it was a glimpse, like like Pizza the Hut, like you don't need any more than a glimpse and a quick reference. And in that, it would be like, nah. But because it's like, oh, he's got more screen time, and now he's got a monologue,
and the guy's eating him, and like,
we know what you're referencing, we know what you're trying to get. Okay, it's funny. It's Pizza the Hut.
Or even if you just saw like delivery drivers with Pizza the Hut on them, like something like
not
that.
so in your face, but just like a reference. You can go, okay.
And things like the Schwartz. It would have been so much funnier if the guy was like, what, the Force? And they're like, not, it's similar, but legally different. And then just moved on. Yeah. Like, Combing the Desert is the best scene in the whole thing.
Yes, that's the one I was
Combing the Desert.
Again, I think it's like the visual comedy and stuff. I think it's where it falls down is like over milking stuff, and some of the scripting just kind of, it's almost like not enough time and thought. Because he had so
too much time and thought.
Yeah, like overdoing it, maybe. But I just think, I wonder if it's when you take a body of work to parody that's got so much visual content to begin with, and so it's almost like there's less onus on you as a writer to have to inhabit this world yourself with your writing and sort of embody the characters a little bit more. Like, every character was completely paper thin, and I'm not saying they needed to be like fleshed out per se, but there wasn't a lot there to go on. Like every character was just a paper thin pastiche of what they're taking
what they're meant
to
to be,
basically. And there was no more than that. I thought for the best for me was probably like John Candy as Barth, just because John Candy, because I think that he was actually going for it half the time rather than just phoning it in. And I thought Rick Moranis' Dark Helmet was pretty good.
Dark Helmet's good. Like the scene where he's playing with his own action figures. That's really good.
That's quite good.
That's good.
But again, it's like you don't need any more. You could have had a glimpse.
Well, that was improvised by him. Totally
really?
Improvised. And I think you see that. And I think, like you say, like I think there was something about Spaceballs, and maybe it was because it came before Dracula Dead and Loving. It came before Men in Tights. It was maybe his first sort of true spoof. Although I suppose Young Frankenstein is a spoof film.
Yeah.
And I mean, Young Frankenstein is brilliant. It's much better. But there are even elements of that where you're like, it's going a bit too much.
Yeah.
Like, the putting on the Ritz scene where they start singing and dancing.
Yeah.
That's really funny the first time. Like, did. And then he's like, and you're like, you really laugh.
Yeah.
But then they do another verse.
Yeah.
And then they do it again. And you're like,
yeah.
Okay, we get it. But the joke doesn't carry on from that. Like, the thing that made it funny was he can't sing and he's trying to. That's funny. But hearing it again and again. And I think the thing, like you say, with the combing the desert, like, Scrooge says, like, they need to comb the desert. And it cuts to them with giant combs combing the desert. That's funny.
Yeah.
But then they go like, sir, do you think we're taking this too literally? And he's like, no, he told us to comb the desert, so we're going to comb the desert. Didn't need that
just
scene.
Show it and move on.
Yeah.
And you're like, that was funny.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting is I agree, one of the funniest bits, but that has nothing to do in and of itself with any of the setting of Star Wars, is it? Or it's not one of the jokes that's directly pointing at.
No, other than they visit a desert planet and search for the droids.
So you could have made that joke with anything.
I suppose that is kind of combing the desert.
Yeah,
in Star Wars, but it's not like
they don't say comb the desert
they
in
just,
Star
like,
Wars.
find the droids, and it just
Yeah.
happens to be they're on that planet. So, but yeah, I think everything you're saying, I think, kind of leads into what I was saying. My 3 words of just not as good. I think when I first watched this film, it was probably like early teens. I think that's probably when I first sat down and really watched Star Wars as well. It was like kind of like when I was like that kind of age, like when the prequel trilogy was like coming out. That's kind of when I sat down and kind of like watched like 6 films and kind of got really into a bit into Star Wars. And I was like, oh, there's a spoof on it. I'll watch that as well. Really enjoyed it back then without really getting a lot of the other references to films that I've like never seen before. And then watching it now, I'm like, oh, it's just not as good as I remember.
Yeah.
I think like you said, it is very dated. And it just feels it. It's
Like,
not that great.
There's one or two like really funny. Again, like the visual comedy, like that first bit with the scrolling text kind of sets you up with where you know where this is heading, right? And then you've got the ship that's just scrolling
carries on forever.
Like,
Yeah,
that's clever.
But then We Break for No One isn't funny. It's a bit of a miss. Then the thing that's on the back.
Again, it's kind of like
the bumper sticker.
Yeah,
it's one of them
like the
ones,
bumper
like,
sticker
they-
could have
they-
been a
they've
funnier
gone-
bumper sticker.
They've gone for it to be like, this will be a funny image, but they're like,
But it's like when I don't know your uncle or your father-in-law, whatever, who's got that joke, and he realizes that people actually laughed at that joke, and then just keeps on like egging and milking that joke, and you're like
every time they come around, you're like, oh god, he's gonna say the joke.
You've got to let it go, like let it go now. Like it was funny for a second. And I think there's a lot of this film that has
Get a new joke.
But I wonder why, like this film with a lot, like not similar cast, but like similar people behind it, and Mel Brooks and everything. Like right now, just thinking about like Robin Hood Men in Tights, which is not like a much more highbrow production, but just you remember that one of them is blind in Robin Hood Men in Tights, and then Dave Chappelle is a chew in it and stuff, and like all through the film is that, and then right at the end he's like, "You're black." And it's just like a really funny little like throwaway moment that like still works, and there's still funny elements that like, and I don't know, it's just all those films, and like I said, we talked about watching Dracula Dead and loving it and stuff, and it's like a scene where he's like stabbing her in the heart and just the blood comes up, and it's silly, but he's like, oh my god, and he's like, still not quite dead. It's like, he's dead enough. Like it's they're I don't know. They just seem tighter,
I think it's probably because the actors in those films are just it's
But
a
they're
physical
not.
comedy.
You
they're
have
just
not
better
got,
with it.
but you've not. They're not better actors than Bill Pullman and John Candy and Rick Moranis.
They're not necessarily better actors, but probably with what they're being given, they're better with it.
I do think Bill Pullman's not as strong in this. I think
Well, he
this
wasn't their first choice, was it? He was.
No, I think they wanted like a really high
I think it
profile
was like
name.
Tom Hanks or
Yeah.
maybe even Tom Cruise. I heard.
Because Bill Pullman was relatively unknown at this. I think they'd seen Mel Brooks, if I'd seen him in a play or something. So they decided
good at
they
it.
had big names in the rest of the cast, and they went, I don't think he is. I thought the first scenes that he's in, when he's in his space caravan or whatever, with Barth, it felt to me like, because apparently he'd never seen Star Wars before.
I mean,
so imagine that, you're trying to parody something.
Parodying something you've never seen. Like, come on.
But
And
I
it just
always
looked
think that would be better because you'd be playing it straight.
I don't think he felt like he had
It
a
feels
smirk
like he's
on his
phoning it in a
face.
bit.
And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, right, well, I know we're trying to be funny. I don't quite know how much we're taking the piss here, but
Or
I
how
think
much I'm allowed to take the piss.
he gets better as the film goes on. You can kind of tell it was shot in somewhat chronological order.
I think
but,
he is probably the weakest in the film, though.
I don't know. I think with the princess, she's nothing special. Like, she's not very funny. She doesn't, like, someone else in that role would have made that an incredibly funny role.
I think, a lot of potential to have a lot of fun with it. I think it's
But
okay.
are we
It's definitely
also, like-
Zuniga.
Are we also like, we've almost been spoiled for like Star Wars spoofs? Like Family Guy does it so well.
Oh,
Robot
they
Chicken
do it
does,
so
you know,
well.
and like, because they do it so well, this is a bit like, it's a bit like a simple joke on that. Like, I don't know. It's just, there's definitely something about it, and like having rewatched a lot of Mel Brooks stuff quite recently, this is the one that doesn't hold up strangely. I did hear somebody say, actually, like on a another review show that they actually thought that Blazing Saddles didn't hold up and this did, and I can't. That's Blazing Saddles is Blazing Saddles should be watched by people because anyone that's potentially a racist, watch Blazing Saddles and have a good long look at yourself how ridiculous you are.
What a sell on a film there.
Yeah.
Do you think you're racist? Watch Blazing Saddles.
Anyone that's like, no, I'm not racist. I've got that mate down the pub. No, right, you need to go and watch.
Take this survey. Right, the survey tells us you need to go watch Blazing Saddles.
But yeah, I mean, that amazing joke where, I mean, Gene Wilder, how brilliant is he in it? When he like holds up his hand and he's like, what's wrong? And it's like, so he's like, yeah, but I shoot with my left hand. It's all shaking. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, we are in danger of like talking about much better films here.
Were there any things that you really did enjoy and like about it? I think one thing for me, going back to near the end of the film actually, when they're in the space cafe, Lone Star and Barth, and there's that insane cameo from John Hurt playing the same character he plays in Alien Kane.
Yeah.
And there's the same chest burster scene in the space cafe. And then the little alien...
just dances off the screen.
Baby, just like a song
Hello,
and
my
dance.
baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime.
So funny.
So that was mental.
What would have meant is mental. So it was the first time I would have watched that. I wouldn't have paid any attention to that. I would have okay.
Oh, because you wouldn't have known what that was referencing.
I wouldn't have I'd have probably saw a little alien, like, okay, but because I've not seen the film, I'm So seeing that, I'm like, okay, that's really funny.
I mean, good sport for John Hurt for reprising his famous role in fucking Spoof. But I wanted to see more of like, all right, we've got like the Pizza the Hut, but I wanted to see more mad shit like that. Like, give me some more funny alien characters. Like,
Yeah, but what was that like silver guy that was with Pizza the Hut?
Just I think it was just a robot, wasn't it? Like a droid.
Was that not meant to be their play on Boba Fett?
But I mean, it didn't look like him in any way, or like.
No.
I was hoping for like a Boba Fett.
That would have been a better bumper sticker. Bubba on board.
Right, that'd be great. But I wanted to see a version of him with like his jetpack always malfunctioning or something. I wanted to see, the famous Star Wars, the bar with the alien band.
Yeah, the cantina.
Like, how did they not?
That's a home run, isn't it? That's a home run.
They could have did so much with all the alien things.
I mean, that's one of the best bits from the Family Guy, where it's like, hey, any requests? Hey, about that same song? Okay.
So much material to play with there.
I'll tell you what would also been great is when they're like running away from like the stormtroopers and they're like, stop or we'll shoot, and they shoot and they get shot. They're like, ow! It's like, well, yeah, we're trained soldiers. Of course we're going to hit you. Like, that would have been funny because they famously miss all the time.
Yeah, or maybe like when it hits you, something no one expects.
It's just light.
It's just light or something, like, but they never knew.
Just turning a torch.
Like,
yeah.
I think that's the first time we've ever hit something.
It's a little warm, but I mean.
Are we just rewriting this film?
Yeah, should we just do it? Spaceballs 2 is coming out, apparently. So.
No, it's not.
Yeah, with Mel Brooks and everything. Yeah.
Oh,
because he's thought now's the time. There's been another set of actual Star Wars films.
Yeah. Do you know what? I blame Scary Movie 6 for this.
Yeah, well. But yeah, maybe we should write it because I think we do
a better. It sounds like we do a better job.
I do think my favourite, not maybe point, my favourite bit is the combing the desert. I think that's funny. My favourite character is, ironically, and my least favourite character, both the ones played by Mel Brooks. President Scroob is really funny.
He's so good.
And he has some sort of like offhand comments where he's like running. He's like, this ship's too big. If I walk, the film will be over. Like, that's funny.
Yeah.
And then the scene was like, beam me up. And it's literally just
and
the next room. It's like,
I think
his
those
head's
were
the wrong way
good.
round.
Those were good because they didn't like overplay it.
No.
It was like the joke was there, it was done.
And then he walked. Then he move on to the next joke where he literally just walks back to the previous room. And it's
that stuff's good. But yogurt, I don't like yogurt at all. Like, I think it's not close enough to Yoda to be a parody of Yoda. And it's like maybe it's like a more like a Jewish reference that I'm not getting or something. But I'm just like, there's nothing like with Pizza the Hut. He was like pizza. Like, you've called this guy yogurt, but he's not a yogurt, and that's like kind of like Yoda, but he doesn't act like Yoda in any way.
It also made me think, do you know when you're kids and you take your shoes and you put them on your knees?
Yes.
And
I mean, that's clearly what he did.
that's obviously what he's doing.
I
Yeah.
mean, like,
That is...
Mum, Dad, look at me! I've shrunk!
But, like, it's... Yeah, there's not even any scenes where he's, like on his back, like, riding around like Yoda does, or something, like, funny things like that. It's that's a miss for me, the whole...
I agree. I think it could have been done loads of different ways that probably would have been funnier than
You could have even probably just got away with a shit puppet of Yoda rather than, or a Yoda lookalike, rather than actually have Mel Brooks play it. Just have a shit puppet.
Yeah, like where you can see the strings and stuff.
Just a shit puppet, and then you just have a little cutaway of you can see
And
it,
that-
and then it shows the puppeteer.
And that would have been brilliant. And, like, it cuts him, and he's, like, having a fag. Oh, ducks down, and, like...
Like when they're doing the fight with the Schwartz, and then they swing it over, and the cameraman gets booted off the thing.
Yeah,
Off
that's
the boot.
funny.
That's funny because it's like
And, like,
it's unexpected.
Like, and I do think, like, films like Airplane and stuff do that much better. Like, you know, with, like, the merchandise, rather than, like, a whole scene where he talks about the merchandise, if they'd just been, like, running through the spaceship and ran past a merchandise stand,
Yes.
and then, like, went back and, like, bought something,
That's
or
enough.
or bought the lightsaber from the merchandise stand and
used
fought
it.
with it.
Well,
Like,
the Schwartz ring, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
Bought
you know?
that from him, and then like,
yeah.
brilliant scene. Yeah, it'd be funny.
I totally agree. It was just everything was overdone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just.
There's
much
no
overdone.
subtlety there.
Apparently, George Lucas fucking loved this film and was like pissing himself with laughter.
I mean, I get it, especially if it was like...
For-
something-
It's your
the
own
time-
material and you're
Yeah.
seeing it
For
parodied.
the time, I can see why. But if he were to go back and watch it now, he would probably be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, let's see what he thinks of Spaceballs 2.
I mean, they've got.
It's probably still better than the sequels.
It could potentially be all right because they've got a lot of lessons to learn, and then I've also now got a lot more material to work with.
I think they're going
So,
to get some really good
I think
comedians on board.
I think they
They're
should-
missing a trick if they don't absolutely hammer Jar Jar Binks. If they don't have him in Spaceballs 2 and just absolutely slate it and just ruin the character of Jar Jar Binks.
I almost think you
And
can though, because
spoof.
almost like it was a spoof already.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Like,
Unless he's like,
but
means again, and like, no,
Yeah,
and he's like, all right, sorry.
Yeah, but the spoof can be, he's serious. So he's no longer the bumbling idiot, he's a serious character in the spoof.
yeah.
Actually, that's true.
Subvert
If
it
he's like,
completely. It's
the one
if he like
serious
walks up
character.
and he's like, hello, like, how's it going? Like, no, I'm not going to do the voice. Do the voice. Look, I just need to get these papers signed. Means I need these papers. Yeah, thanks. All right, Jar Jar, I'll sign it.
Right. Should we
let's-
give her meatballs?
Yeah,
before we
let's get
cast
into our
her on?
meatballs.
Our
Probably- probably-
Spaceballs.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, yes.
So
Our
how about
space
that?
meatballs.
Nick, how many Spaceballs are you giving this film?
Right. It's better than Rebel Moon. Except which was also a spoof.
Is it better than Nosferatu? I'm not.
I mean,
Oh,
it's kind of hard for you to give. It's kind of hard for you to give
what
anything lower than
comparison?
Rebel Moon, seeing as you gave that 0.
I did, yeah. So
You
where can
can't
we go from
not
there?
give anything any less unless you're taking meatballs away.
I will give this film a generous 2 stars. 2 meatballs. 2 Spaceballs.
2 Spaceballs.
That is generous. I think.
Is it
yeah.
very generous? Yeah, I'm very generous at the moment. No, I'm going to stick with it. 2, I think there were some bits that I went, and there were enough of those to be like, for each 3 of those, it gets a
I
fucking
feel
Spaceball.
like me sitting through Spaceballs is what it's like for my kids when I won't stop doing puns. Like, Dad, just shut.
And I wonder if part of it now
Dad,
is,
we're in public.
now that we're all dads, I
Yeah.
think we're starting to enter
Yeah.
the dad joke territory. So
Oh,
maybe
mate,
part
I've
of it
been
was
there.
like, nah.
I've been there about a year before I had kids.
So yeah, 2 Spaceballs.
2.
I think you've been a bit generous. I can't see past 1.
Yeah, it's tough because I think I gave Nosferatu 2, and
No,
obviously
you talked yourself down.
did I,
You
1.5
brought
maybe.
yourself back down to 1.
1 meat.
I believe
I
you.
thought by the end of it, you had an empty plate.
I think you ended on 1 meatball.
It's tough because I wouldn't say that's my benchmark now. I think it got so low because it so disappointed me.
I think you just
So-
had a bread roll. by the end of it.
Yeah,
just had an
The
empty-
crumbs.
an empty roll waiting for some meatballs. Please,
Just the
sir.
bit.
I had accidentally drank the water you're supposed to wash your fingers in.
Yeah.
That's what I had. Yeah. No, I think I'm going to go 1.5 Spaceballs for it. I think it's like you say, it's got some moments, but most of the time you're sort of sat there and you realise that you've got a smile on your face and you've sort of been holding it, and then you're like...
Because you're like, any minute now, there'll be something funny.
You're like, that joke was really funny 20 minutes ago, and I've been sort of holding my breath until the next one. And then you kind of like lick your lips and kind of go, yeah. Okay.
Lips get a bit dry.
Do you know what was weird, just briefly, about the way this film ended? Did anyone feel like it was a really weird rush job ending? Because I was fully expecting Dark Helmet to make an appearance at the very end again, seeming as they crash landed.
Yeah.
They'd get to the wedding of Lone Star and the princess, and then there'd be a final confrontation, but he just gets like happened upon by some Planet of the apes and then never seen again.
Yeah,
it was really weird.
I think they were really setting up for a sequel.
Do you think?
I think very possibly.
Confidence. Well, finally, here it's.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Like I said, I don't think I can get past one Spaceball with it. I think what didn't do it a favour is I think because I just recently watched Dracula Dead and Loving It, I think that didn't help it at all.
A Dracula Dead and Loving It is a solid 3.5 to 4 meatballs.
So
You had a high standard in your head.
Yeah, so because I had a high standard, I'm like, it's of a similar vein of film. And I don't know what year Dracula Dead and Loving It came out.
95.
Okay, so it was like an 8-year gap. So yeah, I think I had it. Was holding it slightly higher.
I mean, Leslie Nielsen is such a good comedy actor.
Yeah.
I mean, just the taking the hair off. It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
So I'm gonna have to sit on one space.
One. Wow. Okay.
Well, look, can we improve this film?
Oh, that's what we tend to try and do.
How often don't have to
I mean,
always
we've
happen,
already
but-
improved so many of the jokes just by saying a few things,
So
right?
I think we're ready to cast a role.
Movie cast a roll,
Who feels like it's best to start with?
I think, personally, I think it should go protagonist, antagonist, mine.
So start with me then.
Yeah, you're two, then
Mine
Nick,
too.
then
So
me.
so I've got as the Lone Star and his lovely little companion Barf, as we've said.
Also, I don't think Barf's funny as a name. It's nowhere
nothing
No,
like
it
Chewbacca.
doesn't
It
sound
would
like
it would
Chewbacca,
have been
does
better if it was Crunchy, chewy, crunchy, But Barf isn't like
Or I could
a
have called it Chew It.
yeah, or
name it after sweet, just some that sounds similar, but it's not actually chewy.
yeah, or Swallow.
Yeah, that was an odd one as well. John Candy was
John Candy was
good, and he was really going for it. I think he was
Yeah.
having a good time, and I liked his ears, the way his ears moved.
Yeah,
his
so
doggy
a bit of
ears.
trivia about that. They're remote-controlled ears, but they were so distracting and scene-stealing that they turned them off a lot of the time because they would move too much and make people laugh too much.
So yeah, so I'm the one recasting Lone Star and Barf, played by, as we said, Bill Pullman and John Candy. It's quite an interesting one to do. I've had a lot of ideas because obviously they are an on-screen pairing, so you can't. I was thinking, well, do I go with people that I know work well together, or are not, but are also quite funny? So
Did you do Vin Diesel and The Rock?
no,
Okay, good.
I did think about doing The Rock and Kevin Hart
Oh my god, amazing!
because right.
That actually would be alright. Yeah,
Right, that's what,
Kevin Hart is Barf.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I was
Stop
thinking
it.
The Rock is Lone Star and Kevin Hart is Barf. I thought it could be really funny because they have got such a great chemistry together, and they would be really funny.
Could they call him Stonelar?
Definitely.
Get it? There's a rock and he's stone.
Such a cunt. So, but I haven't gone with that. I mean, I might do. I might come back because I wasn't expecting that reaction. I'm not going to lie.
I think it's Rock and Kevin
I was
Hart.
really
Pandering to the audience.
Well, when I was both expecting to both go, oh, really? And so I wasn't expecting that reaction, so I might go back to it.
Oh, go on then. What's the pair that you thought was better, though?
Well, so I've got options. So for Barf, I was debating again. I've got a gender bend option for both of them. So for Barf, I've actually picked someone I don't actually like, but they are begrudgingly kind of funny when they want to be.
Okay.
It's
Wow,
quite
what a endorsement!
Those quizzes, I think.
That's on their IMDb.
Kind of funny when you want to be.
Which is Melissa McCarthy.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
yeah. It's amazing.
Melissa McCarthy's good.
So
yeah.
that's. But then, other than that,
Kind of funny when you want to be.
my
Wait,
options
in which role?
for Barf?
Oh, yes, be amazing.
Yeah, that
She'd be amazing.
So I thought she'd have a real fun time with it.
Yeah.
My other options were Jack Black,
Yeah.
who again, it's a bit too obvious, and kind of out there, in the vein of The Rock, John Cena. Because
I think John Cena would be good.
He is really funny when he wants to be.
Yeah, he is good. He's good.
He is so... When he wants to be, he's really funny.
He's my favourite thing of him. Have you seen Cock Blockers?
I've not.
No.
I've heard it's really
so
fun.
good.
I've actually heard it's one of the few really funny films he's in.
It's really good.
Is it surprising how good at actors a lot of wrestlers make?
Oh my god. Maybe it's getting like fully, properly beaten up for real makes them good actors.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah,
I assume real is in air quotes, am I?
No. What are you talking about?
Apart from maybe Goldberg.
What's weird about wrestling?
no,
Just on a tangent, sorry. What's weird about wrestling is if you wanted to beat someone up, you wouldn't do any of those moves.
You wouldn't.
Like, you just punch someone in the face so they stop
the
moving.
least practical moves to do.
If I could just lift you in the air, what are you
just
doing?
in the air and just drop you on your head?
Yeah. Well, that would
Oh, can you just stand there while I climb this ridiculously high thing and just flip off it?
Having
The
said
wrong
that,
kind of chair. I
I quite like
chair.
wrestling. I watched the Royal Rumble recently. It was,
Yeah,
it was
I
a lot
thought
of
it
fun.
was a good rumble,
A lot of
actually.
fun. Yeah, it was a good rumble.
Good fun. I actually stayed up and watched it live.
No,
Yeah.
well, that's
Regretted it the next day.
yeah.
So I'm now torn with who to pick there because, like I said, I wasn't expecting that reaction from Kevin
I
Hart.
think I think like Kevin Hart's good, but
Like
I
my choice was going to be John Cena.
Could we please have your other picks
Yeah.
for
So
Lone Star?
for Lone Star. So Lone Star, my gender bend option.
that's
was gonna
not that's not what we're calling it.
be,
Gender swap. It's not gender bend.
It's gender bend.
Gender bend.
Gender bend.
Gender bend.
So that was Aubrey Plaza,
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Like-
okay.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. She's got a bit of swagger
and she can be real. I think she's got quite a sarcastic comedy about her as
She'd
well.
be play it super flat, wouldn't
Yeah.
she? Yeah.
So I think she'd be quite fun with it. Other than that, we've got Charlie Day, who I think would just up it to another level.
Yes.
Going on a Saturday Night Live kind of vibe of Andy Samberg.
Samberg. That's a good shout. That's
I
a
think-
really good
yeah.
shout.
He's good. He could arguably do either of those roles, I think. He could be a Barf as well.
But I think
He can't be too much as a
I
Barf.
think do you know who would be a good barf with Andy Samberg?
No.
The guy from 9-9 with him.
What's his name? From Hot Tub Time Machine.
yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. I can't think of his name. I think that's got to be my pairing. Right. Andy Samberg and that guy.
No, not.
What's his
is
name?
it from Hot Tub Time Machine?
Yes, he is in Hot Tub Time Machine. Yes.
His name's like Tudo or
Yes, you are. Yes.
Joe Low Trugolo. Andy Samberg as Lone Star and Joe Low Trugolo
Yes, you're right.
as like
Truglio?
barf.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's Truglio.
Truglio.
100%. You are right. Yes.
Right, that
I
is
know him
definitely
best
pairing.
from. I can't think of what film it is, but I know him best from a sports parody,
Right,
where he's
no.
got the voice that breaks all the time when
Yes.
he's in the crowd.
It
It's
is.
like,
It is.
Come
it's the
on,
one.
lads.
It's I Love You Man.
yes.
And he's like,
that's such
here
a
we
good
go, Rangers, here we go.
And everyone's like, get the fuck out, man.
That's a classic. That's
Yeah.
a Paul Rudd thing. Yeah. Okay. So those two.
I think we got a bit louder on that. Yes.
9-9.
Andy Samberg and was it Joe?
Jolo Trugilo.
Trugilo.
Yes.
Truglio.
That I can't believe I didn't think of him.
He's good.
When I was thinking of on-screen pairs, I should have thought of him because those two on Line 9 together are amazing.
Yeah.
I do,
Yes.
I do like it.
100%. That is Samberg, Truglio.
But if I had a vote, I think I'll be going for both Plaza and McCarthy.
Well,
You'd
you
go for
you
the-
hold off on your Palazza.
oh,
So basically, that's
we
what
might,
Sam.
we might have a Plaza coming.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the protagonists. Nick, give us your antagonists.
Okay, right. So, I have got both President Scrooge, who was originally played by Mel Brooks, of course.
Yeah.
One of his two roles in this film. And Dark Helmet, who is the legendary Rick Moranis.
So whoever you pick for Scroob, is he also going to be yogurt?
Question is
Are we
Moranis
casting
coming back
Yogurt
for
as
the
well?
Spaceballs 2?
I don't know. Moranis has come out of retirement now, technically,
hasn't he?
but yeah, I don't know if he is.
Are you casting Yogurt?
No.
Okay, yeah. So maybe this should be So
Double duty.
Yeah, okay.
I've got the
I don't know if it
princess
works
and
for
dot
both.
matrix, so
Have you? Okay. Right, let me go straight in with President Scrooge. As soon as I saw him, I only had one person in mind, so I'm just going to go straight in. And my President Scrooge is played by Harvey Keitel.
Oh, that's nice.
Or I thought we'd have, like, imagine with thin moustache and he'd have all that kind of, obviously, like, he's like a massive, serious actor. But he's in stuff where he's funny too. And I think if he was just playing it up a little bit, being sort of charmy and smarmy, and like, I think he'd be really good. And I do think he's got really good comedy chops. So I just went straight in with Harvey Keitel. Whether he would be
His
a good...
back catalogue doesn't suggest he'd be good at comedy.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a lot
That's
of
almost what you're saying. You want him to play it straight, you know?
Yeah, you do. Or you want to see, particularly I think in a lot of comedies like this, you do want to see at least some cameos of really big actors in roles you wouldn't normally see them in, having a really good time. So Harvey Keitel is President Scrooge, and then Dark Helmet. So I had 2 picks for this, right? I'll go with my second pick, but I do just want to throw this out there.
Is it Michael Cera?
Is it Michael Cera?
Is it Michael Cera?
Not my final pick, but I do just want to position that concept of Michael Cera as Dark Helmet, right? I think would be really funny if he was just proper Michael Cera-ing it up, right? And he had maybe, I could just imagine some scenes where like he's in a corridor and there's some stormtroopers and he's like trying to play it cool and like hang out with the guys and stuff, but he's just like an absolute doofus, and just trying to make small talk and that kind of thing. I think he could be really funny, but I think aside from in those moments, I don't think he'd carry enough of like the sort of slapstick comedy and stuff.
That's fair.
Whereas I think he was trying to play it really cool. Have you ever seen, there's an amazing, I think it might have been Saturday Night Live actually, or some sketch show, where Adam Driver plays a parody of his own character, and he's like undercover boss. Have you seen that?
Yes.
No, I've not. No.
In the Death Star, he's really
amazing.
Funny.
So he's playing...
he pretends to be the janitor, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's like his character.
So he's playing Kylo Ren.
He's playing Kylo Ren, but going undercover as an undercover boss.
Amazing.
I'm
gonna have to look this out.
To get to know his colleagues on the Death Star. Like, so he's in the canteen,
Yeah.
dressed as like just another worker, and he sits down. And he's like, "So, what do you guys think about Kylo Ren?" And they're all like dissing him and stuff. He's like, "Oh, really? It's really good." So I could see Sarah doing stuff.
I'd
like
have to hunt that out. That sounds really funny.
But I had to go with, in the end, there was only one person that I could see
Swear to God, if he says
playing
Daniel
Dark
Radcliffe.
Helmet, right? And actually, this is a person who I could see also playing Yogurt. And that, my friends, is Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Because you can imagine coming out, right? Like, really,
yeah.
he's already like got the height nailed for the character. I just think, it'd be very good.
That would be funny.
He'd have to come out like really tall, and then he's just like...
He's on a box.
He's on a ladder or a box or something.
Like the suit would have to open and he'd step out of it.
Yeah, he'd step out of a really big suit,
Yes.
but then he would be small, but the helmet would still be massive and
Yes.
come with it.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely, yes. It would almost be like Stewie in the Family Guy parodies of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would look like that, but yeah.
Do you know what? Now we said it when we were looking at other casts. Someone I think might be good is Craig Robinson. You know, the guy from Hot Tub Time Machine. And he like comes up and like he's talking for a while, and they're like, "Dark Helmet." He's like, "What'd you call me?" He's like, "Dark Helmet." He's like, "My name's just Helmet."
We need to
It's
write
like,
this
who's
film.
been calling me Dark Helmet? That would be really good.
We
right?
need to write this film.
And he'd be great at that
He would be
delivery
great.
as well. He'd be so
What'd you
funny.
call me?
Is Mel Brooks doing the sequel?
Yeah.
Right,
I think
someone
we
get
could
hold
get
of Mel
signed on
Brooks.
as co-writers.
Yeah.
Get hold of
Actually,
Mel
once
Brooks,
I did say,
send him this podcast. We're in on it.
who
We're in.
were your picks for Barf again? Melissa
It was
McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy, Jack Black, and John Cena.
Was that who were your picks for the Lone Star then?
It was.
But you actually ended up with Jolo Triglio.
Yes, yeah, he did.
That's because I can't believe
That
I
is
didn't think of
genius,
that because that's a moment of genius by Sam. For Lone Star, it was Aubrey Plaza, Charlie Day, and Andy Samberg.
Charlie Day might be a really interesting Dark Helmet. That kind of like when you lift it up and he's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Like kind of like,
Yeah.
"I can't breathe in here." Like that's quite like
He's probably got the most Rick
Moranis
energy.
I was going to
than
say
anyone.
he was probably been a good choice.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
I think it's good. But yeah, I think.
Like the dorky, slightly bumbling.
Also, what about for President Scrooge? What about his name's completely gone out of my head.
I'm so glad Sam went that way. Yeah. What about?
There is someone that I originally thought for
Christopher
President
Walken.
Scrooge.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He
You
would
just want-
be-
You just want an excuse to do the impression, didn't you?
I think I've lost the impression. Comb the
Would
desert.
be amazing. The other
Have you
person I-
found those droids yet?
He'd be so good. I did also think, and I literally can only ever think of him from one thing, and that is the Adam Sandler film Little Nicky. Do you remember I think actually Harvey Keitel was the devil.
Harvey Keitel's the devil.
In that.
And he's hilarious in that.
There you go. Do you remember his dad in that film? They bring him out.
That's
Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield.
And he's like a proper...
Whoa, what you doing
comic.
now? Yeah.
I could see him as the...
Whoa, the radar's jammed. Oh.
really-
Anybody got any toast?
Come on, Sam. Finish us off.
Okay, so I've got Princess Vespa, played by
that's another
Daphne
dick joke, by the way.
Zuniga, and Dot Matrix, played by the amazing Joan Rivers.
Yes.
Now, I've had a look, and I don't know Daphne Zuniga in anything else.
No.
This kind of thing.
No.
When I was kind of looking at that, first of all, my initial pick was, because I think they look a bit similar, was Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And I think Jennifer
be really
Lawrence
funny.
is quite
Yes.
funny, and she's quite good. And have you seen that? What's that latest one that she's in where she plays like an older person trying to sleep with the kid?
I know the film you are talking about. I
Yeah,
have
it's
not
called like
seen
Just
it.
Do It or something. Or
Yeah.
like, anyway,
I think she'd be really good at being like really stroppy princessy to begin
Yeah.
with, but then kind of being like really fed up by being saved by these inept.
But then also
Yeah,
not
heroes.
looking at a place in the scene where she picks up the
It
automatic
picks up
laser
the-
blaster.
yeah.
Like,
We badass doing that.
it wouldn't look out of place either. Yeah.
so I thought about that, and then going off the back of some of the things I've been watching, I thought Isla Fisher.
Yes.
I thought she'd be quite good, especially like the classic,
She'd be
like
brilliant, yeah.
carry all my stuff.
yes.
But then
Bright Little Princess.
my
yeah.
outside pick was Aubrey Palooza. I thought
Sorry, I don't know who Aubrey Palooza is.
Palooza.
Audrey Plaza's
Yeah.
Audrey Palooza.
Welcome to Halapalooza. Palooza.
I think
This week and all week.
change the name to Princess Palooza.
Yeah, Princess Palooza.
Definitely.
It's always a party with Audrey Palooza.
Princess Palooza.
Aubrey Palooza. I think she would just be like so the deadpan, like, oh, they're sucking the air out of my planet. You know? But I think that might get a little old.
And a bit and quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I think her like way of playing characters in this would bring you out of it, because you'd be like, she almost seems like she doesn't want to be there.
I tell you how she'd be amazing if you still had a different role for the actual princess, but Aubrey Palooza was like the princess's best mate that had to tag along, but she was just like a real drain.
Well, I guess that
in
Dot
the room,
Matrix,
like-
you could have.
You
that.
can have it, yeah, I suppose.
Because
yeah.
you'd be like, I'm not carrying your luggage. You carry it. But yeah, Jennifer Lawrence. I do like Jennifer Lawrence. Isla Fisher, Aubrey. They're all good picks. You got a preference? What do you reckon?
If I was to pick one, I'd go with Isla.
Isla Fisher.
I'll go Jennifer Lawrence.
I think I like Isla Fisher.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
out of those two, I think,
Like,
yeah,
I think she'd
Nice.
play like the spoilt kind of like,
Yes.
wait for me, kind of like really
Yeah.
well.
she'd give off a real bratty vibe. For
Yeah.
Oh, is that a dog?
Okay, so Dot Matrix, played by Joan Rivers. Actually, I think Aubrey might be a really good pick for that. Like, given like the really kind of like, again,
Sarcastic
everyone
nature.
played it really differently from that. I've gone with like my Hollywood pick, thinking of people that are really good voiceover people, would be Olivia Colman, Maya Rudolph, who is literally the voice of every animated character on telly and Netflix at the moment. She's from Bridesmaids, is probably the way you best know her from.
Yes.
But she's
Yeah,
yes.
yes.
But she's the voice of like everything.
Is she?
It really is. She's like everything.
Yeah.
But Olivia Colman, have you seen Mitchell's versus the Machines?
Yes, I
She's
think
the
so.
mobile phone.
I think it's.
I have.
Well, we obviously all
I've
know
seen
Olivia
loads,
Colman, but yeah. And then my other one, like to take it in a completely different angle, would be Julie Andrews. In like a very caring kind of like,
Oh, I like that.
and maybe the robot's like, if we're feeling down, maybe we could sing a song. And they're like, shut up.
really mumsy.
Yeah,
kind of-
yeah.
I quite like that.
Just a spoonful of oil.
especially with the scene that the Virgin Alert comes on.
Yes. Oh, I see. It's a Virgin Alert. I'm designed to go off before you do.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Yes. So I think she could, but I actually now really like Aubrey Palooza.
Aubrey
Like,
Plaza.
Aubrey
not
Plaza.
just Plaza.
It's the ALA. Looks
It's
like
not
Palazza.
It's just Plaza.
It's ALA, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Anyway,
Either way, it's just...
we all know what we're talking about here.
Who I think would be really good at voicing that if we took it in a very British direction? Why can't I think of a name? Classic British actress Emma Thompson.
Emma
Thank
Thompson.
you.
Emma Thompson, she'd be very much Julie Andrews type there.
That kind of, yeah. But I almost prefer her
brilliant.
to...
Emma Thompson's brilliant.
I think she'd be really
Or maybe you go the other way, like they do in Family Guy. Like, oh, blimey now! I'm not walking through this desert anymore.
Well, you could just do that.
I'll just do it. Yeah, I'll just do it.
Just get salmon.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But yeah, I'm gonna completely call an audible, and I'm gonna go for Aubrey for Dot Matrix.
Love it.
Because I think that's just
Deadpan.
her deadpan kind of like rather than Joan Rivers kind of like like when she runs away from the wedding, it's like go after her. It's like oh no, stop.
Yeah,
wait.
I think she'd be quite good.
I think that'd be really good. And
I don't think it would get as short as quick as if she was playing the princess.
And she'd be like,
it's all about the voice.
Hey, how are you doing? Like, oh no, the robot's running out of power. No, I always sound like this. That's it, right? Okay, so should we run through our cast?
Yeah, so Lone Star will now be played by Andy Samberg.
Oh, that's a good one.
Barf is
Jolo
Truglio. Amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
Such
That's
a great
that's
parent,
such
isn't it?
chemistry right there.
Oh, it'll be phenomenal.
I'm trying to picture it.
I don't know if you've seen it, but they did a Christmas film recently with the guy that plays Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
This is Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Jolo
I'm
Truglio
talking-
is Boyle.
I've been thinking of the black guy.
That's Terry Crews.
No, Doug Judy.
That's Craig Robinson.
That's who I want.
Oh,
That's also great, but how are you
But
think
what-
That's who I thought you...
but what did you think when I was talking about when he was Dark Helmet? And he's like, who are you calling Dark Helmet?
I thought you'd been on about Doug. I thought you'd been on about Doug Judy this whole time. That's why I said Hot Tub Time Machine.
Right, and then I was
Yeah,
like,
he is in Hot Tub
you've
Time
got that-
Machine.
Yeah, he is, but Jolo Truglio is
I
Boyle.
want Craig Robinson.
I do think Craig Robinson is a better pick.
Right.
And actually, I would love to see the interplay between him playing Barf and Aubrey Plaza playing the robot, because I think they'd both be very deadpan,
Yeah.
but they'd clash, and it'd be great.
You must.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
that was
What
a
did
shit
you say?
show.
That's a shit show.
That
It's
was a
fine.
shit show.
It's fine.
I
It's
don't
not
know
a shit
what-
show. It's you not knowing the names of any actors
It is,
ever.
you're right. And it's all,
Sandberg, Robinson.
my average wake-up time has been 3:30 this week. Okay?
Oh my god, that is
tired.
Jeez, yeah, we'll let you off anything
Yeah.
in that case. Right, moving on then, we also have President Scroob. The president of Planet Spaceball is now played by Harvey Keitel.
brilliant.
And Dark Helmet himself, played by Danny DeVito.
Phenomenal.
And we have got Princess Vespa, played by Isla Fisher. And we've got Dot Matrix, her ever so helpful robot, played by Aubrey Plaza.
Palooza herself, very good.
Hullabalooza!
Is this a rare occasion where we've done a better cast?
It's
I
a
think
really good cast. And I think with some of the
improved the
jokes
film.
we've come up with,
Seriously, Mel Brooks, get in touch.
yeah, right? We would write the shit out of that thing.
We would do it for free.
Yeah. Well, hang on. I don't do anything for free.
We'll
Tell-
do it for exposure.
By the time we finish with this film, these Spaceballs will be drained.
Oh,
They'll be drained. By the time we finish this script.
Spaceballs 2, draining the fluid.
Oh.
The space worms cometh.
And so if we're going to have a hand in writing, I feel like it's only fair that we also play ourselves one of the other...
What, we're just sat doing a podcast in a scene?
No, not ourselves. I mean, we get to play one of the other parts as well.
Well, can I play Yogurt, but doing my Michael Caine impression?
Okay.
Because I think that-
Yogurt that's fallen on hard times.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like Yogurt's
Hold
cockney
up.
cousin.
You're not going to be killing no one unless you use the power of the Force.
The
the
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
So, what? Nick could be...
I'd like to be literally just one of the alien musicians in the
Nice.
bar. Thank you very much.
And I'll tell you what, I will be the Boba Fett that Nick wanted, that's just looking confused at a jetpack. Why can't I get it working?
Nice. Yeah. Just constantly in a befuddle trying to get. That's all you're ever doing. You're just in the background trying to fix it the whole
That would be
time.
quite funny because
Someone else next to me, have you tried turning it off and
He's
on?
almost-
Yes, I've tried turning it off.
you've
He's-
almost got all your armor on. Then the next scene, your glove is on your foot, and you're like Just or your arm is never quite right.
The next time you come to me, I'm like, I haven't got the jetpack. I've just got like a big parachute or something. Just like, yeah, fuck it, this'll do.
And I want to be playing, like, as part of the space band, like the weirdest looking fucking alien instrument ever. Like, it's like alive. It's like another alien maybe, and I've got to like blow into a.
Are you suggesting you're going to suck off an alien?
I mean, I'm not suggesting that.
I'm not going to suck off an
I'm
alien.
not suggesting it, but if that's what you're getting out of it,
Can I say the final scene for your guy? He
Yes.
finally gets a jetpack on, finally gets your armor on, flies off, and then right at the end comes back with a chocolate bar. Goes, I found the bounty.
I hate that. I hate them.
You don't like bounties?
Oh, they're so
I would
shit.
like him to fly off, and then whilst we stay on shot, but the credits roll, halfway through credits, he just flies the other way. He's just gone the wrong way, so he just goes. and comes back the other way.
It's just ludicrously slow.
Yeah. He's still like muttering, like, still not working properly now.
Seriously, Mel Brooks, get in touch. We are now. The Spaceballs are drained. They've been docked. They've been docked.
We've been milked.
We're done with it. We're going to do something a bit different for our next episode. Because we got a quick turnaround, we're not going to really have time to watch another film. So we're going to do another one of our game pitch episodes.
Our
Pixelated.
casserole pixelated episode.
So, let's spin the wheel and see what game it chooses for us.
Yeah, we have got a wheel for this. So
Yeah,
we've
we
got a wheel with some absolute classics,
Shall
some
I
video
read-
game
shall I read-
Yeah.
shall I read
franchises.
some of the games out?
Read some examples, young Jim.
Yeah, I've
Let's
kind
see
of forgotten what we've...
So, I mean, bizarrely, Donkey Kong's on there.
I thought you were going to say Don Quixote.
I don't know why the fuck that's on
Donkey
there.
Kong? Fucking hell.
I don't know who.
That's a barrel of laughs, isn't it?
I mean,
Done it?
other than that, I mean, this will be interesting if we get this, considering the absolute shit show that just recently been released. We've got Borderlands. There's Bioshock. Doom.
Bioshock is calling out for a really
Good.
scary
Yeah.
We've got Doom.
Doom. That was a
Considering
bad
again, the
yeah.
absolute shit show of a film that was.
That was the last film where The Rock got killed.
Was it?
Yep.
Was it really?
Yep.
Oh, and then from then on, he was contracted like that.
Yep.
Ain't happening.
God of War. Final Fantasy. Mass Effect. Yeah.
Have we got Gears of War on there? Because the
do
problem
not,
problem is Gears of War is like you just make the game,
Yeah.
You'd
Well,
just be casting,
yeah.
wouldn't you? I think
but Gears of War is so good.
such good. Yeah. It was so good. Yeah. So that's the kind of things we're looking at. So let's spin the wheel
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to this.
and see what it sums up. Boy, I don't think it could have picked a harder one to do.
Come on.
Really?
How do you feel about Snake? Snake? Snake!
Metal Gear Solid.
I don't know if it's hard, but it's definitely solid.
Fucking hell.
The wheel has given us Metal Gear Solid. I don't think it could have picked a fucking game with more lore to do.
Right.
Jesus.
It is so fleshed
Is it
out.
any Metal Gear Solid, or is it specifically Metal Gear Solid like
Well, it
one
just
or
says
two?
Metal Gear Solid. So
I
you've
think
got
we can just pitch our own film and cast for a Metal Gear Solid film, right? It could be set in just the universe. It could be any one of the games, or it could be,
yeah.
our own take on
'Cause
like a new.
Obviously, the problem is if you're going for your own take, you've got a lot to consider because obviously that lore is so fleshed out across so many games. It's like one of the most complete characters and
It's
lore
not. It's
going.
so weird. The lore, like I feel like this is a good one because it's going to give me a chance to like right the wrongs that happen. Like I played the first one, I was like, oh, it's amazing. I can't wait for more just like awesome Metal Gear Solid. And then the second one came out, I was like, this is brilliant. And then it like sort of, whoa, okay, it's a bit weird at the end
you
there.
jolted
And then like the third one, I'm like, where am I going? Okay, let's go back to the beginning now. And then like the fourth one, what the fuck's going on?
I think doing the first one feels like the safest ground in so much as.
It's
plot
it's
and
not the
stuff.
most out there.
I mean,
And
you
you've
just
probably-
get
you've got what?
mad after that.
How many like big bads have you got in there? You've got Sniper Wolf. You've got is it Vulcan
Revolver
Raven, you've got
Ocelot.
Revolver Ocelot.
Psycho Mantis.
Psycho Mantis and
The
Liquid
ninja
Snake,
one.
and yeah, Grey Wolf.
Grey Wolf.
So you've got some quite fun
So you've got
characters to cast
six
there,
characters
iconic
along with Metal Gear
characters.
Solid, along with Solid Snake, Meryl, and I suppose
Colonel Campbell.
Campbell, yeah.
And who was the other one? The like the nerdy tech guy.
Oh, Ocelot.
Ocelot.
No.
Octagon.
Something like that.
Yeah. I've got tongue-tied.
Yeah, so I think it's almost just like one option is you could just cast that as a film and decide who you're going to be playing the roles. I don't know.
That could be one of the safest options.
I think what we need to plead from all listeners now, particularly if you're Metal Gear Solid fans, is go easy on us if we decide to like create our own film.
Yeah, if you are
Metal Gear Solid is a very beloved franchise.
Yeah, and I mean, we get it. If you really love the lore of like Metal Gear Solid, like through and through, we get that. But for me personally, it's too crazy.
Well, I think you could almost just, as long as you're trying to make it as complicated as possible for the sake of it, you're probably doing okay.
And again, if we make one story that fits in, you'll probably be like, yeah, that'd fit. But I've got these dancing robot flamingos. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's definitely.
That happened at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Audio Aperitif.
So that's what you can look forward to in our next episode. Until then, Sam, I believe it is the return of Audio Aperitif.
Oh, it is. I do have an audio aperitif. And I'm going to just say this right now. 2 of them are maybe. One of them, guys are going to struggle as fuck.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can remind ourselves of the current scores. I think I wrote it down.
I was going to say how the scores look. I'm pretty sure I'm
it's like
tearing away in the lead.
5-3.
No,
I don't think
7-4 or something
7-4.
like that. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Hang on,
I know Nick had like a 3-point lead.
I'll take it.
Right. I can't find it. We'll go with 7-4.
Are we ready, guys? I've got new phones. It's going to be louder for you guys.
Ooh.
At home, you'll just hear the actual audio. There you go, guys.
Right.
I think it's safe to say that is not a horse.
No, but for some reason I'm picturing a helicopter.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm picturing like a helicopter, the machine turret, and then it's because you can hear the bullets pinging off what I think is like a wall or like the floor, and it's clearly shooting after someone.
Well, we'll come to you first, Nick. Have you write something down?
I got
you got something
something
down, right, Jim?
Yeah. I need to think of the film it could be. I'm trying to. The annoying thing is we've just been speaking about Metal Gear Solid, so I can only picture Liquid Snake in the fucking helicopter shooting. That's what I'm picturing. Oh,
just really throwing me off there is the reload sound.
Yeah,
because it just doesn't feel like that goes with the gun.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be giving him clues, should I?
Well, is it a reload or is it just a? Is it Mission Impossible? I cannot fake. Is it a Mission Impossible film?
Nick.
Okay, I do agree that there is a minigun-esque kind of type to it, and I was trying to think of all those films. So initially, I was like, I wonder if that's like one of the guns from Aliens, like the sentry turrets or something. But I think they had more of like the burst guns were like more of that kind of sound. So I've moved on from that. Then I was thinking minigun territory. Then I also thought minigun on a helicopter territory. Then I wondered if it was the minigun on the helicopter during Matrix when it comes down to rescue Morpheus and they fire the minigun through the tower block window. But I felt like that had more of the helicopter sound in the background. So I moved on from that.
And you'd probably hear a bit more glass smashing.
You would. So then I was thinking more minigun. And then I thought, I know a film with a minigun. Predator's got a minigun. And Terminator 2 has got a minigun. And between those two, I didn't really know which to go for, so I just ended up going with Terminator 2.
It's a minigun from Predator.
Oh, is it seriously?
Yeah.
I am so glad you didn't get that.
No!
You were so close. Just so you know, if it had been the one from The Matrix, it would have been in slow motion.
Yes, because it comes in.
I'm so glad you went with the wrong option.
You were so close, man.
Oh, you got. It's because we've had a Predator sound.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Have we? Oh yeah, we've also had a Terminator.
Have we had a
We
Terminator?
had lots of stuff. It's actually difficult to think of like just sounds that don't have music just over them.
As soon as you said Terminator 2, I was like, oh fuck, of course he does shoot out the fucking window.
He does do that. Eventually we'll get through all miniguns in all films.
Yeah.
Right, sound number 2. Okay, we are coming to Nick first, but Jim, do you need some time to get an answer?
No, I've got an answer. It's probably massively wrong, but I'm going to go with it.
Nick?
Is it? It sounds Robocop-y to me. Is it Robocop?
Okay, interesting.
Which means it is. So which means mine's very wrong. I was kind of going with the idea of it's kind of in the vein of Star Wars, and it was going to be like the 80s or something. And I figured you might have kind of took something from that.
Yeah, that's kind of walking.
Considering we're doing Spaceballs, but I think Nick's probably got it.
It's interesting. You're both very close. Nick's 100% close.
Oh, yes.
It is Robocop walking along.
Whee! The ATTs or whatever are a fair shout, though, because I think they also made that kind of sort of sound.
Weirdly, they're quicker. It's
they?
weird, yeah. It's strange. Anyway, okay, ready for number 3. None of you are getting this. Right. Right, now, I'm going to give you a helping hand here.
It almost sounds like there's like a...
It is
fire
not
being let off.
Aliens or Alien.
So
It
that
is
was
not a
gonna be
xenomorph.
That was
No,
going to
no,
be
I
my
know.
It
guess.
sounds
It
like that.
sound very alien.
That, especially that at the end.
Steam vents emptying and things like that. But yeah.
Okay, when they make the
I'm
screaming
also
thing
going to
with the
give
big
you
shot.
another big clue. It is not a sci-fi film
It
Is
is
it
not a
not?
sci-fi film.
in any way.
Is that sound a mogwai? And is the film Gremlins?
I was going to say the same thing. Is it Gremlins?
It's interesting because I class Gremlins as a bit of a sci-fi film.
Would you?
Yeah.
I was just about to-
like
I
a
was gonna
horror
say the
comedy,
same- I
but
was-
not
yeah.
something sci-fi about.
But it's kind of like, yeah.
I was about to say the same. Is it Gremlins? That was my guess. That was going to be my guess.
Okay.
Hand
well,
on heart, genuinely, that's going to be my guess.
that's what we've thrown out then.
Is it
It's
Gremlins?
definitely not.
No, you're both wrong.
Well,
It is the two-headed troll monster from Willow.
Oh, what? No
I was
way.
never getting that.
No way. Is it really?
Yeah, literally, after I cut it goes... da, 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 da,
That would have given
da,
it,
da,
like,
da, 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 da.
such
The
a
music
sci-fi
is so
sound.
like... Yeah, and that is what's so weird. That like thing is the lightning going between the heads.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit of lightning and a bit of
What
fire.
that? Brum, brum, that's
The- the-
lightning.
Yeah. And it just comes up and then it's like the... It's such
Let's
like
show
that...
a picture.
Ray Harryhausen stop motion animation little heads and they like snap at each other.
Willow
But
troll monster.
these sounds, what makes it so interesting is when you take music out, they're so different. Okay, so you got 1 point in that game.
I will take.
You were
another
so
point.
close to getting 2 points. That was, and you
danced around it.
As expected, got absolutely nothing.
So what? 4-8,
8-4, yeah.
That's double. That is.
and that is
That's good maths, that, isn't it? Well done.
audio aperitif.
Well, so that's us done for another episode.
Yep.
We'll see you again in another couple of weeks, where we will be pitching our ideas for Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear.
Looking forward to that one.
What is the best way for Mel Brooks to get in touch?
Just
Mel
however,
Brooks, I will be contacting you.
carrier pigeon.
I will be hounding you, and I will not give up until you get us in on Spaceballs 2.
I think we have to use the Schwartz.
The Schwartz.
That's the only way.
So, probably an apt way of signing off. Until then, my name has been Jim. May the Schwartz be with you.
My name is Nick. Goodbye.
My name is Sam. Live long and prosper.
Cast a roll, cast a roll. Movie cast a roll, cast a roll. Movie cast a roll, cast a roll. Movie cast a roll.